I would allow that, but I would just tell you all to be concise, right? I know
Yeah.
like there's a lot to go through, but if it takes the same amount of time to tell the story as the
I
session
think
itself, then something went wrong.
with, with with the framing device I have planned for my story, I think it'll be pretty not quick, but it'll be concise. There's a lot of details I'm going to be leaving out because they're not pertinent to the overall path.
You're next up then. Send it.
Oh, okay. In that case, you won't be. I mean, I guess you'll be hearing my aspiring path from me, but this isn't. You'll see. Let me just paint the scene real quick. We see a campfire. Two gentlemen sitting at it. One a bit on the older side, maybe close to his fourth decade of life. The other, a very young man, probably barely 20, if that. And they are both dressed in very ancient Greek-inspired garb. They have their battle skirts. They aren't wearing their armor, but you could see sort of laid off to the side these two shined, though still battle worn, bronze chest pieces. Of course, sculpted to look like a very muscular, masculine frame, right? And the older gentleman. Clearly, they're both soldiers. This one appears to be a veteran. He is shining this very Corinthian helm, very very Spartan looking, with a large red plume made of horsehair coming down the middle like a comb, like a mohawk. The younger gentleman is sitting, warming himself by the fire. Every so often, he'll hold his hands up to the flames and then rub them together and rub them on his arms. They sit in a comfortable silence when eventually a third soldier, this one wearing his breastplate but no helmet, comes out of the tree line carrying some more firewood in his arms. The younger man will speak up. Rubbing his hands together once more, he gives the new arrival a nod, and he says, "Andros, it looks like you had some luck. That's all dry, I hope." To which the new arrival, a soldier, maybe mid-20s, late 20s, he gives a nod and he puts the firewood down by the fireplace at the sort of outskirt of their really small camp. And then I think off to the side a ways is a much larger war camp. It's clear at this point that these gentlemen are sort of the outguards, keeping watch, sentries. As he puts the firewood down, this soldier Andros, after nodding, he with his chin sort of motions towards the younger man. And he says, "You like to keep your equipment clean, don't you, Proctos?" And the younger man, Proctos, kind of sheepishly rubs the back of his neck, and he says, "All the better for Mari to see me across the battlefield, right?" Which earns a chuckle from the older soldier. Oh wait, no, sorry. I forgot that the younger man was not shining his helmet. Well, he is now. Fuck it. And the older veteran soldier was warming himself. But he chuckles, and the older soldier will. I will also post these in the chat. These names. He chuckles and he says, "I think being seen by the Fomori is the last thing a greenhorn like you would want. They would snipe you with their crossbows from 100 feet out." Which Andros kind of shakes his head and he says, "A Fomori crossbow can shoot much farther than that. Nicholas." And Nicholas will kind of wave a hand at Andros dismissively and say, "Oh, it won't matter anyway. We have them on the run. All thanks to the victor's force here." And the veteran sort of reaches across the fire and slaps Andros on the arm with the back of his hand. At the mention of this Victor's Farseer, the young man Proctus will get like a faraway look in his eyes as he casts them towards the sky, and he says, "Oh, what a boon he is to have found the Archon's spear on Omiros, to ascend to such heights. Do you think even we could do that?" To which Andros will shake his head and say, "Cast away such expectations, young Proctus. You are a rookie. I would not expect you to know the way of the world yet, but ascension like that is not something that happens every day." To which Proctus kind of slumps his shoulders and says, "I would have liked to have known how it happened, at least." Which causes Andros and Nicholas to sort of exchange a few words. Andros shakes his head, and Nicholas kind of gives a shrug and says, "Well, if you did want to know, young boy, Andros was there." And Proctos looks from the veteran to his compatriot Andros and says, "You were?" Andros says, I was on Omiros. I was not there when it happened. But you know the story. I heard it from the smithy, Angelos, who heard it from Boros. He was serving under Axios when he ascended. So what happened? Is it true what they said about the Outlander? At that, Andros will sit down on a log beside the fire, looking into the flames, noticing that they're a bit fleeting, dying. He reaches over to his newly acquired firewood and tosses it into the campfire. And he says, "Yes, there was a strange Outlander on Omiros in the days leading up to the reclamation of the spear. I saw him with my own eyes. He was middling height, strange attire. He wore these tall boots like you would see out west. This wide-brimmed hat as though he were the ferryman himself. And on his hip he carried this strange rod. He arrived with Axios, with the Farseer. And he spoke the Styroposian dialect. I'll also post these. And these. Axios, he took the Outlander into the war tent to speak to the commanders. And as I heard, and as we all saw, they allowed him to stay. Even gave him the privilege of going on an expedition with Commander Axios, Captain Axios, rather. It was actually his idea for all the expeditionary forces to proceed during the night. Which earns a bit of a guffaw from Nicholas. "What a far-fetched plan." Yes, Nicholas, but you can't deny the details. Not the details, the
Merits.
the merits. We got the spear in the end, did we not? And the Farseer because of it, right? Yes. It is truly an odyssey of our time. At least that is how it was put. I do not know how true all the details are, but From things like a forest constantly changing, vines spewing acid, barring our heroes' paths, basilisks that spit venom that hardened the body to stone. Axios, the victor's farseer, and this outlander, along with the soldier Boros and their whole squad, they proceeded to the heart of the island. At one point, they even faced a titan of root and vine. Its one glowing eye shooting out this beam that cut swaths of the island, burned it to ash and cinder. And all the while, the brave Helicolian soldiers, with their captain Axios, and the outlander whose strange, thundering armament brought the beast to heel, fell it like ancient heroes of old. Stone golems blocked their path at the final stretch, shooting out swaths of lightning. The outlander, he dodged them as though he could see them as well as any Stirposian oracle. And the Stirposian captain himself, Axios, he took those beams of lightning, those strikes, and turned them right back to those golems. Together, they sundered these golems.
Just trying to put the imagery out there.
That's so perfect, actually.
That was the main impetus for its laser cutting through everything.
That's so good.
I mean, it shot from miles out, so
Yeah, it checks out. Checks out.
like the sound effect.
Yep.
And
I also have Axios catching lightning. Hold on, where is it? Is there a gift for it?
Is gonna be who I think it is.
Of course, it's.
Oh, that was not what I was expecting. I was expecting Iroh.
Oh, that would have been sick as well, actually.
He did catch it with his weapon, so.
Yeah, you did.
Iroh is also very fitting, though.
But yeah, as these two Titan Slayers brought these golems to heel, sundered them, the brave soldiers of Heliconia rushed forward and struck at their hearts. And at that point, nothing stood between Axios, the Outlander, and the spear. Which Nicholas kind of crosses his arms and sits back and says, "That's not what I heard. I heard there was one more thing in their way. Wasn't there?" And Andros, whose eyes began to cast towards the heavens, looks down into the fire again. He says, "The details on that they change. They're constantly changing, depending on who you ask this story of. Some say it was a spider, some say it was the ferryman himself, but regardless say, a titan of woe appeared out of the ether itself as Axios and the Outlander approached the spear, centered in a crater as though it fell from the heavens itself. Whatever form it took, this beast of the abyss, snatched up our heroes, and it would have killed them both. The soldiers of Heliconia unable to even so much as scratch it with their weapons. But the Outlander was tricksy. I would pause. No. I would be fearful to think of what world this Outlander came from, that he could so deftly escape the grasp of a creature so Wrong. But he did. And he made for the Archon spear. And as his hands wrapped around it, and he pulled it free from the crater, who showed his face but the Archon of Victory himself, the Styroposian hero, Pharos. His words will forever be immortalized in this story, as he commanded, beseeched the outsider, "Let this day be legend." And as though lending this outlander, this stranger, his strength through words alone, the outlander grasped the spear and took aim and threw it. And Axios, with all the foresight that a Styroposian can muster, caught the spear and stabbed it into this titan of woe and slew it. At this point, there's a hush between these three sentries. And after a few beats pass, the young Proctos will say, "What happened then? Did Axios ascend? Did he become an Archon, like they say?" I think Andros, after another beat, will shake his head and say, "That is not what Angelos was told. The soldier Boros told the smithy that Axios approached the Archon and the Outlander, and spear in hand, he held it out to them. And as Boros heard from the captain's own lips, for but a moment, Axios could not tell who was who. He could not tell the Archon from the outsider. And so he held it out to the both of them, deeming either to take it. And they shared a look, one of immense understanding, even Boros could tell. And as they looked back at Axios, the Archon of Victory put a hand to his chest, a fist over the captain's heart. And he said thus, "In battle, you were reborn. In victory, you are my kin." And so Axios kept the spear at the Archon's behest. A taste of divinity. Ascension, some may call that, but I don't know. He is certainly our superior, no more than any general would be. But I feel like if you were to ask him yourself, he would consider himself as much a man as any of us. But regardless, one thing I am certain of. On the island Omiros, at the hands of the victor's Farseer, the Archon of Victory, and this outsider, who no one can say the name of, Heliconia, our homeland, was victorious. And that's the end of Andros' story.